Hey, what's going on YouTube? This is Turntable coming at you again, and in this video I'm going to be going over turntables. I just kind of picked up one of these, an Audio Technica AT-LP120 USB. It's a direct drive professional turntable, as it says right here, and it has a lot of really cool features. One thing, it has a forward and reverse feature, which is pretty quick when it's playing. It has pitch control with a quartz lock. So if you're out of range of a quartz lock, press quartz, takes you back to 0, and then you go back to whatever plus or minus range that you're at, minus pitch. And then you have a pitch of either plus 10 or plus 20. So you could go all the way up to plus 10 or negative plus 10. And with the press of a button, you could go twice that, which would be plus 20 instead of plus 10. And you can also go negative 20. So all those are really cool features. You have your target light. You have your strobe illuminating light, red illuminating light. So you could, make sure, well, I have it on quartz lock. Make sure that there it is, the centered circle is moving, so you know that your pitch control is working, your platter is working, the direct drive engine is working well. You have your on-off right here to turn off and on the turntable, turn it back on. You have your start and stop button, large square start and stop button. And of course you have 33 and 45. Press both of them, you have 78. So it really compares to the design of a standard Technics 1200 turntable. You have your height adjustment here for your needle tone arm, anti-skating, dial right here. Yeah, it's really built really nice, and it's doing me well. It's cool. I picked this one up from a sale. I picked this one up for pretty cheap, for 40 bucks. The only thing about this one is that they didn't really know how to work it, and they didn't know what they were, what was it all about. They just thought it was just a regular turntable. It didn't have a head shell, didn't have a needle, and it didn't have the counterweight. So I had to go and look for another counterweight that would fit this one. This is actually a 9mm hole, shaft hole for the counterweight there. So if you happen to pick one of these up and it's missing a counterweight, or you're looking at one, purchasing one, and it doesn't have a counterweight, make sure that you pick up a counterweight that has a 9mm hole shaft for the shaft. So you could put it right on the tone arm, the back of the tone arm, and yeah, and then I picked up a head shell and a needle, and it's used. I'm gonna have to get a new needle, but it still works, and it works fairly decent. Now, what I wanted to go over and point out, if you're shopping for a turntable, a couple things to keep in mind. If you're looking at turntables, you're kind of like an old school guy, kind of like myself, and you're looking at these turntables that have like a USB plug-in, and you're kind of thinking like you're not really leaning towards that way, like thinking because maybe you're a little bit old school and you like everything with the phono line and all that. But let me tell you something, having a USB connection to a turntable, especially like this, built in this build quality like this, is a really plus, is a big plus. I would recommend getting a USB, getting a turntable that has a USB connection, and I'll tell you why. The ground wire. Now, this one doesn't have a ground wire connection right here, so you could connect ground. Now, what the ground does is that, with other electric devices around, playing a turntable, you might get playing a record, you might get a hum sound. So you connect, just some metal wire to the ground connection in the back. Usually it's in the back of a turntable, and you can connect it to something else that has a ground connection, usually another piece of equipment, or I've heard some people, they plug it into the third hole in a wall plug, but I wouldn't recommend that. I don't know. I think it would work because what that is actually, the third hole in the plug is actually a ground wire. So you can hook it up to anything else that has like that's plugged into the wall with a three prong wall plug-in. So that's why it's a plus to have the USB cable plugged into your turntable, and then obviously you're going to plug it into your computer, and your computer has a three-prong wall plug adapter, so it's already grounded. So when you plug that USB up to your computer to your turntable, you're taken care of with the ground. The ground is already taken care of, which eliminates any humming noise or any humming background sound. So that's why it's a big plus. If you're shopping for a turntable and you're seeing these USB turntables, it's a big plus to have those because it eliminates having a ground wire, and the ground is already taken care of. Another thing though too, if you're looking for a turntable, if it doesn't have a USB connection, find one that has a three-prong wall adapter connection, not a two-prong. This one has a two-prong, but yet it plugs into the USB to your computer, so you're taken care of. But if it didn't, and if this didn't have a three-prong like it doesn't right now, it has a two-prong, it would have a ground wire connection where I would have to connect the ground. And connecting the ground doesn't always eliminate the humming sound. Depending on where you're working from and how, what's around you and your turntable may affect it. So even if you have a ground connection and it's connected, it may not always eliminate it. That's why it's kind of like it's kind of like a problem with turntables. But if you eliminate it, then hey, you got it well. But having a USB or a three-prong wall adapter plugged into your turntable, if it uses that, then it's a plus. You're really not going to have any issues with the ground or any humming or anything like that. So that's what I wanted to point out with turntables. If you're shopping for a turntable, the Audio-Technica AT-LP120 USB direct drive turntable, it's a great turntable. It's really not that bad. It's built really well. It's sturdy. It's actually heavy too, and the quality built is good. The sound quality is not that bad. It's pretty good, pretty decent, and I would actually recommend it. It's a good buy. You can actually find these for around or under $200 used, and even if you're lucky, you may find them for under $200 brand new. Now, of course, more than likely they're going to be manufactured refurbished, but still, that is pretty much a practically new item. So if you find one like that under $200, that's a really great deal. If you're not really aware of the price on these usually do brand new. They probably do go around like $300 still. I think they do, and maybe even $350. But it's a good buy. I mean, you buy it brand new. You get a cover, of course. This one I don't have the cover on it. And everything comes with it. You get a head shell and you get a needle and you're good to go. And you plug in your USB to your computer and bam, no humming sound. You don't have to worry about the ground, and it's all hooked up. So if you buy it brand new, it's a good deal too. But you may even find it for cheaper, being new or manufactured refurbished or being used, and that the person who had it and is selling it, if they took really good care of it, then you really have nothing to lose. I mean, you can probably pick it up for $200, maybe in a little bit less than that. So it's a good buy. So the AT-LP120 USB, it's a good turntable by Audio-Technica. I recommend it. And like I mentioned before, if you're shopping for a turntable, maybe you're not going to pick one of these up. It's a plus if you get it with a USB plug-in, if it plugs into your computer through USB, or if it has a three-prong AC adapter plugged in through the back. That'll be a plus because you won't have to worry about the ground wire. So that's me. That's Topazzle. That's the little tip of the day that I got for you right now for turntables, turntable shopping, and I'll catch you later.